My name is Phoebe Garcia, 33 years old. I work bank fraud. Last November, my sister sat down at our parents' breakfast table. She smiled. She set down her coffee. We booked Spain. Just the five of us. You understand, right? Mom didn't look up. Dad kept buttering his toast. I said, "Of course." 3 days later, my phone buzzed at 6:14 in the morning. Pacific Crest Bank. Charge alert. $13,700. Hotel Arts Barcelona. I stared at it for one long minute. Then I made one call. By breakfast Spain time, her card was dead. By dinner, the hotel locked them out. I didn't yell. I didn't text the family chat. I opened a tab on my laptop and started building the timeline. Let me back up. That Sunday morning, I drove from Denver to Boulder. 36 miles. I had done that drive every Sunday since I was 22. My mother had texted me the night before. "Come for brunch. Your dad wants to see you." That was all. No mention of Spain. I let myself in. I took my shoes off. I walked into the kitchen. 4 mugs on the counter, already poured, not 5. My mother looked up from the eggs. "Help yourself, sweetie." I lost count. In my family, you don't say anything about the mugs. You pour your own. You set it next to the others. You pretend the math has always worked out. I poured my coffee. Vanessa walked in carrying my niece. Aubrey was 5. She waved at me. Vanessa kissed my cheek without making contact and slid into the chair next to my father. She did not look at me. That was the first sign. Vanessa always looked up. She had trained me for 30 years on how she walked into a room. Today, the script was different. The second sign was Trevor. He had not said hello. Trevor always said hello. Trevor was a marketing guy. Hellos were free. He had skipped his. The third sign was my father. He was buttering his toast with too much focus. My father is a man who has buttered toast every Sunday of his life. He does not need to look at the bread. He was looking at the bread. There was a printed itinerary on the table. 3 pages. Stapled. Hotel Arts Barcelona. Madrid Ritz. 12 days. The corner of one sheet was bent. She had folded it the night before, planning what to say. I saw it before I sat down. Vanessa took a sip of her coffee. She set the mug down with a small clink. "So we booked Spain. Just the 5 of us. It's really a kid-friendly trip, Phoebes. You'd be miserable. You understand, right?" My father kept buttering his toast. My mother turned the burner down. I said, "Of course." It came out the way it always came out, even, light, trained. "Wonderful," my mother said. "Eat, sweetie." Then Aubrey spoke up. "Aunt Phoebes, are you coming?" Vanessa answered before I could. "Aunt Phoebes has too much work, baby." Aubrey kept looking at me. She tilted her head. "But Mommy said the trip is for our whole family. Aren't you our whole family?" I waited for someone to correct her. Nobody did. My mother kept talking about Madrid. My father kept buttering. Trevor looked at his phone. I caught the reflection of his screen in the cabinet glass. His banking app was open. Aubrey looked back at her plate. She picked up a strawberry. She did not ask again. That was the moment I understood the shape of it. They had already had this conversation. All of them. They had practiced. I had not been in the room for it. I ate the eggs. I held the coffee. I watched my 5-year-old niece try to count us and come up short. I left at 10:30. I drove south on my 25. I did not turn on the radio. I gripped the wheel harder than I needed to. I passed the exit for my old college. I passed the diner where Vanessa and I used to split pancakes. I did not slow down for either. By the time I hit Broomfield, I had stopped saying "fine" out loud. By Westminster, I had stopped saying it in my head. I got home to my condo in Cherry Creek. My phone pinged. A Logan alert from Chase. Someone had just signed in. From Boulder. I almost looked at it. I didn't. I should tell you about the card. In February of 2020, my sister sat at my kitchen table and cried for 40 minutes. Aubrey was 8 weeks old. Vanessa had quit her job. Trevor's commission was off. There was a baby and a credit card statement and a brand new motherhood nobody had warned her about. She said it very quietly. I just need something for emergencies, I swear. I'll Venmo you back the second Trevor's bonus hits. I called Chase the next morning. I added her as an authorized user on my Sapphire Reserve. The card came in 3 days later. Her name, raised letters. She thanked me with a card that had two hands holding each other on the front. I taped it to my pantry door. Here's the thing about authorized users. Their charges don't show up as a separate person. They blend into yours. If you're not looking, it just looks like you spent more. And I was not looking. In my family, looking too closely at money was the rude thing to do. We did not write things down. The moment you wrote it down, it stopped being family. It started being a debt. So she carried the card. The slow drip began. Diapers at Target. A copay at the urgent care when Aubrey had croup. Whole Foods, a stroller, a humidifier. She would text me a screenshot. I'll Venmo you back, Phoebes. I never wrote any of it down. A year went by. Then another. Then 4. The texts stopped saying, I'll Venmo you back. They started saying nothing at all. I would notice things sometimes. A Sephora charge I didn't remember making. A bookstore in Aspen I had never been to. Anthropology on a Wednesday I had been at the office until 8. I would scroll past. I would tell myself the comfortable lie. I forgot. I always tell myself I forgot. There was one Tuesday in 2022 I almost said something. I had opened my statement at my desk. I had seen a brunch place in Boulder I had not been to in months. Vanessa had posted that brunch to Instagram the same week. Caption: treating myself. It's been a year. I picked up my phone. I typed 2 words. I deleted them. I told myself she would explain. I told myself I was being petty. 3 years later, that same charge was one of the 41 I would highlight in black on my kitchen island. By then, my father had started leaning on the same card too. His transmission, $1,800. You don't have a family of your own to feed yet, he had said. It's just easier. My mother's girls' weekend with her sisters in Estes Park. My share quietly absorbed before I asked. Mother's Day brunch every year, my card. There were other things too. A cousin's wedding gift in 2022, picked out by my mother, charged to me, card signed by the family. My father's birthday dinner in 2023, 40 people at a steakhouse. I sat at the kid table by accident. The bill went to my card. Vanessa toasted my father with my wine. Christmas every year. The ham, the gift wrap, the new tablecloth. Beatrice would say, Phoebes, can you grab this since you're already up? I always was already up. I was always already up. I had become, in slow degrees, the bank everyone in my family was already a customer of. I had not opened the authorized user list on my Chase app in 18 months. That was a kindness I gave them. The forgetting was the favor. When I got home that Sunday, I sat at my kitchen island. I opened the Chase app. I tapped through to manage authorized users. There she was. Vanessa Garcia Whitlock. Active. Card ending in 0214. I sat with the screen for a long time. Then I closed the app. I told myself I was tired. I told myself I would do it Monday. That night, my family was on a flight I had paid for. On a card I had forgotten on purpose for 6 years. The alert came in Tuesday at 6:14 a.m. Pacific Crest Bank, my own employer, on my lock screen. The kind of notification I get 100 times a day for other people's accounts. This time, it was mine. Charge alert, Hotel Arts Barcelona, $13,700, posted pending. I read it twice. I did not sit up. I did not turn on the lamp. I lay there and watched the words on the screen. The way you watch an animal you're not sure is still breathing. Then I sat up. I screenshot the alert. I did not text my sister. I did not call my mother. I did not open the family chat. There were 6 unread messages in there. I had not read them since Sunday. I held the phone close to my face. The dollar amount didn't blur. I read it again. 13,700. I had run dispute files for half that. I had run dispute files for less than a tenth of that. This was not a small case. Not for a stranger. Not for a sister. I made tea instead. While the kettle warmed, I opened the bank's pending folio detail. 4 nights, suite category, 2 adults, 2 minors. The booking confirmation suffix at the bottom was a 6-character code, HX-2208. I had seen that code before, on the printed itinerary on my parents' kitchen table. Sunday, lower right corner. I do not have the kind of memory people praise. I just have the kind that does not let things go. I sat at my kitchen island with the tea. I gave myself 1 slow minute. In fraud, you learn the most expensive minute of any case is the minute the victim spends before she does anything. That minute is the difference between a story and a case. Most victims spend that minute panicking. They scream, they text, they post, they tell 3 friends. By the time they call the bank, the trail is contaminated. I had watched it happen 100 times. I had also watched what happens when a victim spends that minute thinking. The hands stop shaking. The sentences come out clean. The dispute file holds up under deposition. I knew which kind of victim I was about to be. I let my pulse settle. I counted to 60. I counted to 60 again. When the minute was done, I opened my laptop. I did not open my personal email. I did not open the family chat. I logged into the Pacific Crest internal portal, the way I logged in every weekday. I pulled the full transaction history from my Chase Sapphire reserve. 6 years. Sortable by authorized user. I exported to PDF. I named the file VGW_dispute_master. It was 218 lines long. I did not scroll. Not yet. I did not look at the totals at the bottom. I closed the file. I saved it to a folder on my desktop. I labeled the folder with a kind of dry humor I would not feel again that week: family tax. I drank my tea. I looked out the window. In Barcelona, it was 2:14 in the afternoon. My sister had finished lunch. She was probably walking back to the suite my card had paid for. She was probably planning her Instagram caption. She did not yet know her card would decline at a tapas bar at 3. I had 30 minutes before I needed to call. I used them to think about what I wanted. I did not want her in jail. I did not want a federal case. I did not want to ruin her brand. I wanted her to feel it. I wanted her to feel, for 1 week, what it was like to walk into a hotel lobby. To not know whether the front desk would smile at you. That I knew how to deliver. The first power move in any fraud case is the call you don't make. Most victims, when they discover a betrayal, call the person who hurt them. They want a confession. They want a fight. They want the betrayer to say something they can hold up like a piece of paper. It almost never works. The betrayer will lie. The victim records it. The mother says, "Honey, that's not what she meant." The case dissolves. The betrayer keeps her access. I did not call my sister. I did not text the family chat. I did not text my mother. I did not let my voice into any room where any of them could hear it. I put my phone face down on the counter. I let 4 minutes and 38 seconds pass. I timed it. Not because the time mattered. Because the timing did. I needed my pulse slower than my breath. At 6:54 a.m., I dialed Pacific Crest Bank's internal employee fraud line. Not the customer line. The employee line. The one that bypassed the IVR. The one that landed in Tier 3. Pacific Crest, Tier 3. This is Marcellus Reeves. I knew the voice. I had trained it. In 2022, I ran case method workshops with him. Authorized user fraud. Family cluster patterns. I had taught him to ask one question first. Who else is on this card? I gave him my employee ID and my account number. There was a pause. The kind that means a person just looked at a screen and recognized the name. Phoebe, you're filing on yourself? Personal account, I said. Authorized user fraud, 6-year history, active charge in Spain. Tier 3, please. Not customer service. He did not ask why. He did not soften his voice. He went into the case. We worked for 40 minutes. I gave him the booking suffix. I gave him the username. I gave him the date she was added. February 2020. I gave him the date I last reviewed her history. Which was, I told him, never. He pulled the data. He flagged 218 transactions for review. He locked the authorized user line. Vanessa's physical card was now dead the moment its chip pinged a terminal. He set up a reverse flag on the merchant side for any charge in the last 60 days. He opened a formal dispute. Case number PG2208A. He also did 3 things I had not asked for. He froze the merchant's authorization on Hotel Arts immediately. That meant the suite charge would not just be disputed. It would not be paid in the first place. The hotel would chase Vanessa for it directly. He flagged the booking suffix HX2208 across the network. Any merchant with that booking code would now require fresh authorization. That meant every tour, every transfer, every dinner reservation tied to the trip would surface in real time. He locked 4 other accounts I had not even thought of. 2 store cards, a PayPal, a Venmo. He could see Vanessa had been listed on all of them at some point, even where she was no longer active. He cleaned them all, just in case she gets ideas, he said. Then, because Marcellus is good, he said, Phoebe, there's something else. What? You've got 3 autopays on this card. I don't think you set them up. The room narrowed. Boulder Light and Power, Spotify Family, Apple iCloud Storage, added in March of this year. Account names, Garcia, H, on the utility. The other 2 are under your sister's email. I had been paying my parents' utilities since March. I had not known. Lock all 3, I said. Done. He held the line a beat longer than he needed to. Phoebe, you taught me to ask who else is on this card. I'll handle this one, end to end. If anyone tries to social engineer this account, it gets routed to me. Thank you, Marcellus. He waited. I waited. I knew Marcellus had one more thing. Phoebe, off the record, how long? 6 years. Jesus. I know. You good? I will be. I hung up. I poured the rest of my tea down the sink. It had gone cold. It was 7:34 a.m. in Denver, 3:34 in the afternoon in Barcelona. My sister was, somewhere on a side street in the Bourne district, about to try to pay for tapas with a card that no longer existed. I closed my laptop. I went for a walk. I walked Cherry Creek for 40 minutes. The path was quiet. Thin ice on the water. A man with 2 dachshunds said good morning. I said good morning back. I did not check my phone. I had made my call. The next move was not mine. When I came back, my phone had gone quiet. That was the first thing that was wrong. By the time I had walked back up to my unit, there should have been a notification. There were none. I picked it up. I turned it over. 53 missed calls, 22 text messages, 14 voicemails. The little red number was almost funny. 53 is a number you have to actively try to reach. You have to keep dialing. The first missed call had come in at 4:11 a.m. Spain time. She had started calling me before the sun came up over the Mediterranean. I did not listen to the voicemails. I scanned the transcripts. I learned a long time ago. Hearing a person cry will not change the case. Reading them cry lets you hold the case without holding the person. The transcript pulled keywords: credit card, declined, manager, cash, Aubrey, please, Phoebe, mom, please, please. I read the texts in order. They started reasonable. Card declined at a restaurant. Embarrassing. Can you check with Chase? They got faster. Card declined again. Hotel asking questions. Phoebe, answer me. Phoebe, mom is calling you. Phoebe, answer. Phoebe, what did you do? Then, in all caps with no punctuation, what did you do? The last text was 31 minutes old. It said only, they kicked us out. She had also tried my mother. 12 missed calls there, by the timestamp. My mother had not picked up either. That told me something. My mother knew enough to wait. I stood at the counter for a moment. I felt it. Not anger, not grief. A small surgical relief. The system had worked. The dispute had triggered a hold. The hotel had escalated. My sister was now standing on a sidewalk with 2 suitcases and a 5-year-old. The polite, beautiful logic of it almost made me laugh. I did not laugh. I made tea instead. Then I texted her back. 3 words. I called Chase. The read receipts hit 2 seconds later. The typing indicator started, stopped, started again, stopped. For 30 seconds, no reply came. I knew in those 30 seconds that she had just understood. All of it. The autopays, the years, the card she had carried for 6 winters, the form she had signed in the lobby. She knew her brand was a lie I had been propping up. She knew the trip was over. She knew her next call would be to our mother, and she knew our mother could not fix this. The reply, when it came, was a single word. Phoebe, that was all. I did not answer. A new email pinged. Madrid Ritz. They had just released the reservation. Refusal of card authorization. Madrid was supposed to be days 9 through 12. They were not going to make it to day 9. A few minutes later, the hotel itself called me. The number on my screen was a long international string. I accepted. Ms. Garcia? My name is Nuria Vidal. I am the senior concierge at the Hotel Arts Barcelona. I am calling because the cardholder name on file is yours and the guest name is not. Her English was careful, measured, every word chosen because the conversation was going to matter later. Yes, I said, I know. A small pause. I see. May I ask you a question, Ms. Garcia? Please. Did you authorize this stay? No. She let that sit. I am sorry. Then we have a problem. Your sister told my colleague, and I will use her words because they are written in our notes. My sister wanted us to have this. Please let us check in. She presented identification. She signed a card-on-file authorization form. I closed my eyes. I did not let her hear it. I kept my voice flat. Did she sign anything in writing? Yes. The signature on our paperwork reads P. Garcia. The first name of the guest is Vanessa. You see the issue, of course. I saw the issue. In my line of work, we have a name for what my sister had just done. It is not a soft name. It is not borrowing. It is not a misunderstanding. There is a specific clause in the federal code for it. I have built dispute files around that clause more times than I can count. Could you send me a copy of that form? I am sending it now, along with our internal folio notes, front desk voice memo, timestamp records, camera log, manager's incident write-up, 6 documents. They will be in your email in 9 minutes. I had been working with Nuria for less than 3 minutes. I already understood why she was a senior concierge. She was the kind of person you wanted on your side of a wall. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. I have seen this before. Always sisters. Always Christmas. I am not making a small joke. I am telling you what I have seen. I understand. The pattern is consistent. Younger sister, older sister with a steady job, holiday booking. The lobby part is always the same. The phrase is always the same. My sister wanted us to have this. Never my sister authorized this. It is a careful difference. They do not even hear themselves doing it. How often? 3 times this year, 2 last Christmas, 1 the Christmas before. She paused. You are the first one who called us back the same day. I let that sit. There is one more thing. Your sister is in our lobby right now. She is asking to use a different card. The card belongs to her husband. It has just been declined. Twice. I almost laughed. Trevor's Amex. I had seen a screenshot of that statement once, by accident, in 2023. They had been over the limit then. I could not imagine it had improved. They are leaving the lobby now, Nuria said quietly. I do not think they have a place to sleep tonight. I did not respond at first. I thought about Aubrey, my niece on a suitcase in a foreign hotel lobby, while her mother argued with a man in a uniform. She was 5. She had a stuffed bear named Mr. Bramble. She did not deserve any of this. None of the children ever do. Ms. Vidal, is there a hotel nearby that takes families on short notice? There is. I will send the address. Send it. Anonymously. To my sister's email. Don't tell her where it came from. She paused. I will. You are kinder than the woman I just spoke to in the lobby. I want you to know that. I said thank you. I hung up. A minute later, my phone rang again. It was my mother. I picked up on the third ring. I had counted them. The first ring was for my pulse, the second for my breath, the third for my voice. Phoebe. My mother. Already on the second sentence of a conversation I had not started. Phoebe, what is going on? Your sister is hysterical. You need to fix this right now. The word fix had been my mother's verb for me since I was 9. Fix the schedule. Fix the casserole. Fix your sister. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. The word was a small bell in my body. It was ringing now. Where's Dad? A pause. He's right here. He's on speaker. I heard the television in the background. The renovation specials channel my father always left running. A man in a flannel shirt was talking about subfloors. My father did not turn it off. He did not say hello. He did not say my name. I gave him 12 seconds. He did not speak. My father has used silence as a sentence since I was 10. I had finally stopped translating it. Phoebe, are you there? Did you hear me? You need to fix. Mom, I said it once, quietly. She stopped. Mom, where is Dad? He's here, honey. He's listening. He just doesn't. Dad. I waited. I'm here, kid. His voice was rough. Beatrice, let her talk. My mother exhaled. I heard her sit down. The kitchen chair with the wobbly leg. The one she always sat in when she was trying to control a room. Mom, I want to ask you something before you ask me anything. Did you know about the trip before this Sunday? A beat of silence. Phoebe, that is not the question right now. Did you? We didn't want to make you feel obligated. That is not an answer. Phoebe, how long, Mom? How long had it been booked? She didn't answer. I waited. My father did not interrupt. The man on TV started talking about underlayment. 2 weeks, she said finally. Maybe 3. 3 weeks. You've known for 3 weeks. And on Sunday you let her tell me at breakfast like it was a surprise. Phoebe. And you let her use my card to book it. She told me she had cleared it with you. She told me she had asked. And you believed her. She is your sister, Phoebe. There it was. The first time. I had been waiting for it. I let it land. She said it again 4 minutes later. Phoebe, please. She is your sister. And again, 6 minutes after that. I am asking you as her mother. As your mother. She is your sister. 3 times in 11 minutes. I was counting. I had a habit, in fraud, of counting how many times a guilty party invoked a relationship rather than offered a fact. The number was perfectly correlated with how much trouble they were in. I let her finish. Then I said, very evenly, and I'm your daughter. Want to count how many times you've said that this morning? The line went quiet. Mom, I have not heard the word daughter from you once in this conversation. Just sister. I want you to notice that. I gave her room. She did not take it. In the background, Vanessa, suddenly, very clearly, started screaming. Tell her to undo it, Mom. Tell her. She's doing this on purpose. Aubrey, somewhere closer to the phone, was crying. 7 seconds. Then someone closed a door. Mom. Aubrey is the only person in this hotel I owe an apology to. I want you to tell her I'm sorry her aunt could not protect her from her mother today. Are you willing to deliver that message? Phoebe, please? I have one more thing to send you, Mom. Look at your phone in 30 seconds. I sent her the screenshot, the forged authorization form, the signature line in my sister's handwriting that did not say Vanessa, the signature line that said P. Garcia. It took her 30 seconds to open the image. I heard the breath go out of her. Phoebe, what is this? Mom, that is not borrowing. That has a different name in the legal code. She did not answer for 30 seconds. the longest silence she had given me in the entire call. Then she said, very small, "Phoebe, this isn't who we are." I hung up in the middle of the word "are." The call had been 41 minutes long. 3 minutes later, my father texted me. He had never texted me first in his life. 4 words: "Don't pick up if she calls back. I'll handle it." I read it twice. I put the phone down. I did not cry. I made another cup of tea. The kettle hissed exactly the way it had hissed at 6:14 in the morning. Then I sat at the kitchen island and I made a list. Not a list of feelings, a list of next steps. The same list I made at work after a difficult call. 1. Document everything in the last hour. Timestamp notes. 2. Email Nuria. Confirm receipt of her 6 documents. Thank her formally. 3. Forward the forged signature to my supervisor with no commentary. She would understand. 4. Pull the family chat logs since 2019. Print them. 5. Do not eat dinner with anyone who is related to me by blood until further notice. I made the list in 7 minutes. I felt better. Not happy, just oriented. The way a runner feels at mile 2 when she finds her pace. It is one thing to have a number. It is another to color code it. I went to Staples on Colfax that Wednesday after work. I bought 4 highlighters: cyan, yellow, red, black. The cashier asked if I was a teacher. I said no, just a project. I came home. I printed the 218-line PDF. 23 pages. I laid it on the kitchen island. I started at February 2020. I worked my way forward. Cyan for diapers and baby supplies and pediatrician copays. Yellow for groceries. Red for travel. Black for the things that did not fit. The cyan pile was reasonable. Not friendly. Reasonable. Vanessa had been a new mother. There were stroller wheels and there were honest small emergencies. About $22,000 over 6 years. I could live with $22,000. It was the cost of a sister. The yellow pile was smaller, $8,000 and change. The red pile was longer than I expected. There were 11 trips. 11. I had not known there were 11. Bahamas in 2021, Charleston in 2022, Park City, Mexico City, Las Vegas twice. Both times I had thought she was at home with the baby. Charleston again. A bachelorette in Nashville. 3 weekends to Aspen. Spain would have been the 12th. I counted my own trips. In those 6 years. On my own card. 0. I had not been on a vacation in 18 months. I had told myself I was saving. I had told myself I was busy. I had told myself I was between things. I had told myself for 6 years a very long story about why my life was small. The black pile took the longest. 41 charges, Sephora 3 times, Anthropology 6 times, a spa in Aspen on Mother's Day weekend in 2023 when I had been on call at the bank. $1,182, a weekend at a boutique hotel in Sedona for 2 adults, no children, an Apple Watch. A leather jacket from a designer I knew because the shop was on my Sunday brunch route. None of them had been emergencies. I had paid for all of them. I came to a Sephora charge dated October 14th, 2023. $312. Diptyque candle, gift wrap, a small pouch. I sat with it. October 14th is my birthday. I had spent that birthday at home. Cake from the bakery on 6th. A bottle of wine. A movie. Vanessa had given my mother a diptyque candle that night at our father's birthday dinner the same week. She had handed it across the table. My mother had said something kind. I had said, "That's so thoughtful, V." I had bought my own mother a candle on my birthday, with my own card, that I had not known I was buying. I put the highlighter down. I did not cry. I closed my eyes. The total at the bottom, when I finally looked, was $98,500 and change. $98,500 is, almost exactly, the down payment on the kind of small house I had stopped letting myself think about. A yard, A kitchen window over the sink. The kind of house I had told myself I could not afford yet, because the math just did not work out, because the housing market was hard for my generation, because something interest rates. The math had worked out. I had been giving the down payment to my sister, $300 at a time, for 6 winters. There was something else inside that number. In those 6 years, I had not taken a real vacation. I had not bought new furniture. I had eaten at home almost every weeknight. I had used grocery coupons. I had told a man I dated in 2023 that I could not split a hotel in Sedona because I was being responsible with money. He had laughed. He had said I was being weird about money for someone who made what I made. He had been right. He just had the cause wrong. I had been being weird about money because the money was already gone. I had not known where. I had blamed myself. I closed the document. I set a password. I did not send it to anyone. I did not need to. I needed it to exist. I went to bed at 10. I slept for 9 hours. I had not slept that long in a year. The next morning, I went to my supervisor's office. Adelaide Brennan is the VP of Fraud Operations at Pacific Crest. She has worked bank fraud longer than I have been alive. I put the file on her desk. The cover sheet said only, Personal, Authorized User Fraud, VGW. She read for 11 minutes. I did not interrupt. When she finished, she took off her glasses. She set them on the file. Phoebe, if a customer brought me this file, I would open a federal referral by the end of the day. I do not want federal, I said. I do not want her in a courtroom. I want her to feel it. I want her to stop. I want my niece to grow up without visiting her mother in a county jail. Are you sure? Aubrey is 5. That was the only time I said my niece's name in that office. Adelaide watched me say it. She nodded. Then, dispute hard. Document everything. Send a formal cease and desist through counsel. Revoke every access point. Find an outside witness who is not in your family. Nuria Vidal, I said. Hotel Arts Barcelona. Treat her accordingly. She is your friend now. She put her glasses back on. Phoebe, one more thing. You have built 10 of these cases for other people in the time you have worked for me. You are about to build one for yourself. The version where you fail is the version where you treat yourself worse than you treat strangers. Do not do that. I said I would not. That night, I went to Jenny Lockwood's house for dinner. Jenny has been my best friend since we were 14. She had made pasta bolognese. She had also opened a bottle of Pinot Noir. Jenny, it's Thanksgiving. I refuse to serve sad turkey to a heartbroken sister. We are having bolognese. I sat. She poured. Phoebes, I have been waiting for this conversation since 2019. I just didn't think it would take 6 years. You knew. I knew the second she had Aubrey. I knew the night you added her to your card. I have known every Christmas, every spa trip she posted to Instagram while you were closing fraud cases at your desk. Why didn't you say anything? Because you would not have heard me. Now you can hear me. She poured more wine. She thought for a moment. There's a thing that happens when you watch someone you love getting used. You see it before they do. You want to point at it. You can't. They will defend the person using them. They will defend them harder than they would defend themselves. I would have. I know. So I waited. I picked my moment. My moment was the moment you called me crying from a parking lot, which was never going to happen. Or the moment you called me from a kitchen island with a list of every charge for 6 years, which was tonight. She put her fork down. Phoebes, your mother knew. Don't let her tell you she didn't. She has watched her younger daughter live a life she could not afford. She has watched her older daughter pay for it. She has chosen, every single time, which version of the story she wanted to tell. Don't let her rewrite it now. I nodded. There was nothing to say to a sentence that true. The next day, my Uncle Wendell called me. Wendell Garcia is my father's younger brother, 67 years old. A former accountant. The man who taught me how to balance a checkbook the summer I was 11. He had not called me in 5 months. Phoebes, Your father called me last night. He asked me to call you. He doesn't know how to say what I'm about to say. I sat down. Your father knows. He has known. He just doesn't have the words. He has not had the words his whole life. He will not have them next year either. I did not interrupt. In August of last year, your sister asked your father for $4,000, cash. He gave it to her. She did not pay him back. He has not asked. At the end of last year, he quietly took the company credit card off the books at the shop. Vanessa knew the PIN. She does not know it is no longer active. Why? He has been waiting. For you. He has been waiting for you to do what he could not. I sat with the phone after Wendell hung up. I had spent 33 years reading my father's silences. I had been wrong about a lot of them. I had thought he was withholding. He had been holding. I had thought he was passive. He had been waiting. The difference was small from the outside. It was very large from where I was sitting. Spain fell apart in real time. I watched it from a couch in Cherry Creek with a cup of tea. The hotel released the suite at 12:20 in the afternoon Spain time on Thanksgiving. Nuria texted me. They are gone. They left 2 suitcases. The hotel would hold the bags 14 days, then ship them at my sister's expense, which she did not have. I made a note. 9 minutes after they walked out of the lobby, Vanessa posted an Instagram story. Caption: Messy mom moments. Sometimes hotels mess up bookings. Hashtag soft mom, hashtag real motherhood. 1,200 likes in 30 minutes. Comments saying, "You're so strong, queen." Jenny screenshot it for me. Jenny did not like it. The Toledo tour canceled itself by Thursday morning. $2,310 in deposits, refunded by chargeback. The email landed in my inbox because I was the card holder. Vanessa and Trevor had upgraded themselves to business class for the flight home. I knew because I pulled the seat map on Iberia. They had upgraded themselves. Aubrey was still in economy. I sat with that for a moment. Aubrey had always been in economy. The detail had been there for years. I had refused to see it. The kid got the hard seat. The brand got the soft one. That was the thing that hurt the most that day. Nuria texted me twice more before the family flew home. The first text said, "They found a hostel in the egg sample. 2 stars. They are safe." The second said, "Your sister cried in the lobby of the hostel. The night clerk gave her a bottle of water and asked her to please use her quiet voice. I am sorry to tell you this. I thought you should know it was that, and not worse." I thanked her. I told her I was buying her dinner the next time I was in Barcelona. I am still planning to. That whole week, I did not eat dinner with anyone. I ate cereal at my counter. I worked late. I closed 3 customer cases at the office. 2 were authorized user fraud. 1 was a gift card scam targeting an elderly couple in Pueblo. I ran them clean. I did not bring my own case to work with me. I left it at home in the password-protected folder where it could wait. I texted Jenny once a day, just an emoji. She responded the same way. We had decided, without saying so, that this week was a week of not making her say things out loud. I did not check Vanessa's Instagram once. That alone felt like a vacation. At 3:48 in the morning Madrid time, my mother sent me a photograph. Aubrey, asleep on a metal airport bench. Stuffed bear under her arm. Caption: Is this what you wanted, Phoebe? I looked at it for a long time. I did not delete it. I saved it to a folder I labeled, simply, Aubrey. I did not reply. I made a different decision instead. I would tell Aubrey about it later. When she was old enough. When she could ask me, with her own words, what had happened in November. I would tell her the truth. Her aunt had loved her enough to stop paying for the people who would not protect her. That night, my family flew home. Vanessa and Trevor in economy. Aubrey beside her mother. My parents in the seats they had paid for themselves. I had only revoked Vanessa's access. I had never charged my parents anything. The trip had collapsed around them. Their boarding passes still worked. That had been intentional. My father, I imagine, understood it when he saw it. By the time my sister's plane landed in Denver on Saturday evening, she had run out of cards. Trevor's American Express had been declined at Hotel Arts and at 3 other establishments in Barcelona. I learned this through Jenny, who has a friend whose cousin knows Trevor's college roommate. The story moves fast in the way these stories always move when a brand has been built around the appearance of having things. By Friday morning Spain time, Vanessa was calling Trevor in a taxi, in tears. "I told you," he said, on a recording someone screenshot from a voice memo someone else had been holding for some other reason. "I told you we couldn't afford this trip without her, V." He called my father after that. My father did not pick up. Vanessa called my mother. My mother said, "I'm sorry, honey." Your father said no. My father had not said no to Vanessa for anything in 19 years. The first time he ever said it was over a hotel bill in Madrid, in a kitchen in Boulder. While a man on TV talked about subfloor underlayment, 2 of Vanessa's brand sponsors pulled out by Friday afternoon. A baby food startup, a soft mom jewelry company. Both small, both real, both named in her bio. Their pullout emails used the same phrase. "Given recent allegations regarding cardholder authorization, we are pausing the partnership effective immediately." A follower had noticed something. It had not been me. I had not posted anything. I had not even mentioned my sister's name in any conversation that left my apartment. But Nuria had told her story, on her own time, on her own social media, in her own measured voice, without naming Vanessa, just naming the pattern. Someone had stitched it together. Someone always stitches it together. Stripe reversed a payout of $5,400 to Vanessa and Co. the same afternoon. $5,400. The exact number had once been her quarterly cushion. Now it was a hole. Vanessa posted a video crying. The platform muted it within an hour. A community guidelines flag I will never know the content of. The internet, which had loved her unconditionally for 4 years, looked away for a single afternoon. It was the worst thing that had ever happened to her. Vanessa had built her brand on being seen. Being unseen, even briefly, is the punishment a person like that fears most. I had grown up next to it. I knew. She left me a voicemail at 10:30 that night. 4 minutes and 11 seconds long. I did not listen. I let it sit. I deleted it the next morning. 4 minutes is what someone leaves when they think they've won by speaking longer than you'll listen. A few seconds later, she sent one final text. Lowercase. No punctuation. None of the brand voice. 2 words. "Please, Phoebes." I did not reply. That Sunday, I called Cordelia Beaumont. Cordelia is a family law attorney I had worked with on a Pacific Crest case 2 years ago. She had told me, at the end of that case, "If you ever need something done quietly, with no theater, you call me." I had not known I would. Now I knew. We met at a coffee shop in Lodo on Monday at 5. I gave her a draft of a letter. She read it twice. "Phoebe, this letter is clean. It is also a knife. Are you ready to hold a knife in your family?" "I have been holding it for 6 years, Cordelia. I just stopped pretending it was a spoon." She laughed once. She made 3 small changes in the margin. She handed it back. Cordelia did not have siblings. She did family law because she had grown up watching what siblings could do to each other. She trusted documents more than people. So did I. I finalized the attachments on Tuesday. 6 PDFs, the 218-line transaction history, the forged Hotel Arts authorization form, Nuria Vidal's verification email, the Pacific Crest dispute case, 3 auto-pay account screenshots, a timeline summary, single-spaced, 2 pages. I sent the letter Friday at 9 in the morning. Email and certified mail, same day. 2. Vanessa Garcia Whitlock. CC. Howard Garcia, Beatrice Garcia, Cordelia Beaumont. Subject. Authorization revocation, cease and desist, notice of documented fraud. The body, in part, Effective immediately. Vanessa Garcia Whitlock is no longer authorized on any financial instrument bearing my name. Any further use will be reported as identity fraud and prosecuted under applicable state statute. Attached, 218 transactions, 6-year history. Direct all responses to counsel CC'd above. My mother responded at 2 in the afternoon. 4 paragraphs. The word sorry did not appear in any of them. The phrase, "Is this really necessary?" appeared twice. The phrase, "as a family," appeared 3 times. She asked me to please reconsider before things escalated. I replied with one sentence. "It is necessary. We have talked as a family for 33 years. It hasn't worked." She did not reply. At 4:42 in the afternoon, my father emailed me. No subject line, no signature, no greeting. 4 words. "You did right, kid." I printed the email. I taped it to the refrigerator. I have not taken it down. I do not plan to. Some things you keep because you might need to read them again. Some things you keep because they remind you a person you thought was a wall was actually a man. That weekend, my mother did not contact me. It was the first weekend of my adult life I did not hear from her at all. The silence felt strange. The way putting down a backpack feels strange after a long hike. The strangeness was not the absence of weight. The strangeness was the lightness. The next 2 weeks I spent moving out of a story that had owned my address for 33 years. I did not call it that out loud. I did not announce it. I did not post anything on the internet about boundaries or cycles or healing. I just opened account after account. I changed the names on them. I removed Vanessa from my emergency contacts. I removed her from my insurance forms. I changed the beneficiaries on my retirement account and my life insurance. Vanessa had been the default since I was 23. She came off. Jenny went on as a temporary placeholder. A small line was added to my will routing toward a future trust for Aubrey at 18. Cordelia is still drafting that. I called Verizon on a Thursday afternoon. I ported my phone number off my parents' family plan. My mother had managed that account since 2010. The agent said it took her 32 minutes to process the transfer. Longer than usual. She said, "Looks like you've been on this account since you were 19, ma'am. Welcome to your own line." I closed the 3 autopays Vanessa had hidden on my Chase card in March. Boulder Light and Power, Spotify Family, Apple iCloud Storage. I called my parents the morning of the utility cancellation. The only call I made to them that week. I told my mother, plainly, that I would not be paying their utilities anymore. She said in a small voice, "Honey, we did not know." I said, "Mom, you knew the bill was lower than usual all year." She did not argue. On the second Saturday after the letter, Aubrey FaceTimed me. She had used Trevor's phone. Vanessa, I learned later, had told her that Aunt Phoebes did not love them anymore. Aubrey had not believed it. Aubrey is 5. Aubrey is smarter than everyone in the room she is currently in. Her face filled the screen. The Mr. Bramble Bear was beside her, a little ragged after Spain. "Aunt Phoebes, why did Mommy say you don't love us?" I did not lie. "Aubrey, I love you. Some grown-up stuff is hard, but you and me, that part isn't hard. That part has never been hard. Are you coming for Christmas?" I took a breath. I did not give her the easy answer. The easy answer would have made me feel better and made her feel worse later. I gave her the true answer. "Not this Christmas, sweetie, but I'll be here. Whenever you want to call me, I'll be here." She thought about it. She nodded the very serious way 5-year-olds nod when they have decided to accept something. "Okay, promise?" "Promise. Bye, Aunt Phoebes." "Bye, Aubrey." I sat with the dark phone for a long time afterward. I did not cry then. I would cry later. I have learned, in the last year, I have a delay on my crying. The grief catches me in a parking lot 2 days after the conversation. Every single time. My father drove down to my condo 2 Sundays after the letter. He did not call ahead. I saw him on the buzzer screen. He stood outside my door for 9 minutes. I watched the camera. I let him stand. 9 minutes was the length of time my father needed to talk himself into the door. When he finally knocked, I let him in. He did not hug me. He set a small paper bag on my kitchen counter. I knew what was in the bag before I opened it. It was a stuffed bear named Patches. He had been mine when I was 6. He was missing one ear. He had been in a cedar chest in my parents' basement for 24 years. I had not seen him since I was 9. My father did not look at me. He looked at the bear. Phoebe, I should have stopped it. I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm asking you to know that I knew. I did not say anything for a moment. Dad. Yeah. Thank you. That was all I said. He nodded. He stayed for a cup of coffee. He told me about a job he was bidding on at a church in Greeley. He did not mention my mother. He did not mention my sister. He left after 35 minutes. He did not hug me on the way out. He squeezed my shoulder. That was as much as he had ever squeezed it. It was, I knew, more than he had ever given anybody. After he left, I sat on the kitchen floor with the bear. I did not cry yet. The crying would come 3 days later. The crying would come in a parking lot at the King Soopers on 6th. I sat with Patches and I noticed his missing ear. I noticed the place on his nose where I had chewed when I was 4. I noticed that my father had kept him in a cedar chest for 24 years. I had spent 33 years thinking my father did not see me. He had been seeing me the whole time. He had just been seeing me the way he saw everything, quietly, from across a room. I put Patches on the bookshelf. He has been there since. My mother called me the next evening. Honey, I want us to be okay. I'm sorry if you felt left out. I noticed the if. I have learned to notice the if. Mom, I didn't feel left out. I was left out. There's a difference. She paused. Then she changed the subject. She talked about the weather. She talked about a recipe. I let her. I did not push. I had decided, somewhere in the last 2 weeks, that I was done teaching my mother how to be sorry. She was going to learn it on her own time, or she was going to die not having learned it. Neither was up to me anymore. My sister finally sent a text 3 days later. She used a mutual friend's phone, Cassidy Pemberton, a girl from college who had known us both since we were 20. I'm sorry if anything I did hurt you, the message said, but you also overreacted. I counted the if. I counted the but. I did not reply. I blocked her number. I did not delete the text. I saved it to a folder labeled, simply, evidence. There may come a day in some future I cannot yet see when that folder is useful again. There may not. Either way, the folder exists. I stopped expecting her apology. I let it go in the way you let go of a phantom limb. The limb is gone. The phantom remains. You learn to walk anyway. I booked Lisbon on a Wednesday at 6:14 in the morning. I did not plan to book it at 6:14. I had been awake since 5, staring at a flight tab, telling myself I would do it when I was ready. I clicked confirm at the exact minute the charge alert had hit my phone 3 weeks earlier. I noticed when I noticed. I let myself laugh out loud, alone, in my kitchen, into the quiet. 8 days. One small Airbnb in Barro Alto, a flight that landed on December 18th, which was, I knew, my niece's 6th birthday. The total, with everything, was $3,440, about 3% of what my sister had spent of mine in 6 years. I left Denver on a Wednesday evening. I landed in Lisbon Thursday afternoon. The light over the Tagus was the kind of late afternoon gold I had not seen since November in Boulder. Same light, different country, same gold. A cafe owner near the Miradoro asked my name. I said, Phoebe Garcia. It was the first time in months I had said my full name out loud to a stranger. I had not realized how long it had been. On day 3, my father texted me a photograph. A child's drawing in crayon. 2 figures. One tall, one small. Standing in front of a small castle. My niece had written the caption herself. In 5-year-old block letters. Aubrey and Aunt Phoebe's Lisbon. Not Spain. Lisbon. She had drawn herself with me, in the country she had decided was ours, My father wrote, "She wanted you to see it." I printed it at an internet cafe the next morning. I taped it to the wall of my Airbnb, next to the email that said, "You did right, kid." The middle days I do not remember in order. I remember a tram ride where the woman next to me hummed a Fado song the entire way. I remember a small bookstore. I remember the tagoose turning silver in the late afternoon. On day 5, I went a full hour without thinking about my sister. I noticed when the hour ended. I noticed because I felt the absence of a weight I had been carrying since I was 9. On day 6, I went 2 hours. On day 7, I sat on a bench above the river and I did not check my phone for an entire afternoon. I had not done that in years. I do not know if I had ever done it. On Christmas Day, on day 8, I sat at a cafe in Belém. I had a single pastel de nata. It cost €1.40. It was the smallest amount of money I had spent on myself all week. It was also one of the more expensive things I had ever bought. The cost had been 33 years of saying, "Of course." Jenny called me in the late afternoon. "How are you?" I told her the truth. "I'm not anyone's spare wallet today, Jenny. I forgot how that felt." "That's not forgetting," she said. "That's remembering." I sat with that for a while after she hung up. I drank a second coffee. I watched the daylight leave the river. "I want to say one thing to you before I go. There is someone in your life right now, smiling at you across a table, telling you, you understand, right? If you are not sure who that person is, you already know who that person is. The only question left is what you will do at the next breakfast. I will be in Lisbon. You decide where you'll be."